Hi photographers, I'm going to show you a quick tutorial on how to edit your photos for drawing with light, just to get the most out of the color, saturation, and sharpness of your lines, as well as to adjust contrast if you want to darken your background so that you can't see your models visible running around with your light source. So first you're going to go to photop.com and then you're going to open up the image you're going to be working with. So go to File, Open, select the folder within your desktop wherever you sent your images to, and open up the photo. So here I have my drawing with light photo taken on my cell phone with my nephew Max, using the flashlight across the scene. So I'm going to show you a quick couple of adjustment layers that you can do to boost the color and the contrast of your lights. So first, we're going to go down to the bottom of our layers panel on the right-hand side of our screen on photop.com. There is a little circle that is half white, half gray. It's about in the center of these icons. I'm hovering my mouse around it now. And when I click there, it's going to say New Adjustment Layer. So first I'm going to show you contrast. So brightness and contrast is one of the easiest ways for you to make a big difference. So if I wanted to adjust the contrast of my image to make my background darker and my lights brighter, I can take the toggle on the bottom and start dragging towards the right. Okay. If that is darkening certain parts and I'm not liking how it's looking, I can always use the mask, which I've covered in another tutorial. The mask is that little white thumbnail linked to the adjustment. So if I want to hide parts of this adjustment, I can just simply paint with black, okay? And I can hide parts of this in the mask there. So contrast is one adjustment that you may want to use. And then another adjustment you may want to use is you may want to play with the color of your light source. So if you are using your flashlight on your phone and you want to change your color to be red or purple or blue, you can go to your new adjustment layer at the bottom of your layers panel, that little circle that's half white, half gray, and you can go up to hue/saturation. So I'm going to click there, and if I start playing with the hue of my image, I can adjust the colors to be purple, to be blue, to be green. It's going to adjust all the colors in your image. So let's say I wanted my lights to be blue, but I didn't want it to affect the rest of my image. Then I can choose something that I'm happy with and go and click away, and I can use my mask. So if I click on the little white thumbnail next to the color layer that I just adjusted with, this is my mask. And if I paint with black, I'm going to conceal parts of this layer, this little color adjustment that I just did. So I'm going to go up to my paintbrush in my toolbar, and I'm going to select that, and I'm going to make sure that black is at the forefront of my color selection. If it's not at the front or at the top, then just click those two arrows to the side, and that's going to switch it so that black is in your color selection. Then I can change my brush size if I want to paint larger or smaller. I'm going to make it a little bit big so you guys can see what I'm doing. And if I want to make a soft edge, I can also adjust that. So I'm going to bring my hardness all the way down to 0, and I'm going to make my brush size pretty big so I can paint the sky back to what it was before. Okay. Then I'm going to go and start painting across the top of my layer mask, and it's going to bring back in the colors of the original image. Okay, because it's concealing the adjustment to color. Okay, so if I don't like that, I can always go back and undo by painting with white, or I can always click the brush tool in my history window to revert back to how it was before. Okay, so those are two adjustments you can make and play with in your drawing with light. Again, if I wanted to adjust the brightness or contrast of only certain areas of the photo, I can do the same thing that I just did up here with my color mask, and I can just paint it down here below. So because I increased the contrast here, if I wanted some areas to have not as much increased contrast, like maybe in the cement down below, then I can paint that with black and have it simplify. Okay, so a final adjustment that I'm going to show you guys that you may or may not want to do, I'm going to click back down on my original image at the bottom, and I'm going to go to, actually, where did they put it? In Photo P. I'm going to go to Filter and Sharpen. So I can add a sharpen. You can sharpen the edges, sharpen more, smart sharpen, sharpen with mask. You can play around with these. So if your line was a little bit fuzzy and you wanted it to be a little sharper, you can play, oops, painted just there. You can play with the sharpen tool to make them look a little bit crisper. So the sharpen filter, underneath the filter gallery, sharpen, you can try sharpening edges, and it's going to try to bring out the line a little bit more. Got to get that paintbrush off of mine. Okay, so if you ever want to check back and see something and how it looks without your adjustment, simply turn the eyeball on and off again. Okay, and you can play with whether or not you like what you've done, or you can always go back and adjust by deleting that layer that you've just done. Okay, and I'm at 6 minutes, so I'm going to show you one last thing. If you want to make a little bit of a vignette on your photo, there is probably an adjustment somewhere in here for vignette. Let's see if it's under photo filter. Nope. Okay. So if you want, you can add a plain layer up top and a paintbrush with black selected. You can vignette by painting around the edges or the corners of your photograph. If you want to focus in on your light source, you can adjust your opacity of your brush too by painting around those edges. And if you want it to be a little less intense, you can take the opacity of the entire layer that you just painted on down. Okay, so there's a couple things you can try for learning about photo editing and adjusting and bringing out the colors and sharpness of your lines in your drawing with light photo. Hope this helped you guys out. Leave me some questions or send me some questions in my email if you weren't able to follow along with any of these steps. Good luck and have fun.